Now I'm going to rattle on and talk a little bit here. A lot of folks have been to a lot of these Bluegrass Boys reunions and things like that, and I sat around and listened to this story about that gentleman from humble beginnings with such adversity in his early childhood life who overcome all those problems that meager existence have for you and went on to carry music around the world. Meager existence. 690-acre farm with 3 working sawmills and a coal mine on it. Is that poverty where you came from? Guy came along very late in his mother's childbearing years. He was born with crossed eyes. He had a severe overbite and he spoke with a lisp. But he's born into a family where he's got a 5-year-old sister who's playing with dolls and a 13-year-old sister who might be practicing mothering skills in that day and time. And for a child like that to be born in the neighborhood, you probably know that all the neighborhood women would sort of fawn over him a little bit more than most, and a little bit extra attention would be paid with him. And he was a youngest child, as was Garth Brooks and some of those other guys. There's a whole thing about the psychology of a youngest child, especially in a large family. You know, our whole life is spent asking, learning how to ask to get what we want. We start out crying real loud to get our diapers changed and get some more food thrown at us, but we start learning how to ask. Youngest children have a way of asking where they almost demand a positive response to their requests. It's a very different thing. If we've got any psychologists in the audience, maybe you should come up and talk about that a bit. But, it's a funny thing, though. But from those humble beginnings, there are all kinds of things that they don't know, that don't get brought out. But that mandolin style that was brought up, you know, James Buchanan had one fellow that worked for him by the name of Hubert Stringfield that was a classical mandolin player. That tremolo you hear there, nobody else that played country music back then. That was like Earl Scruggs' 3-finger roll. Now, Snuffy Jenkins did do Earl's 3-finger roll, but Earl was the one who perfected it and got it out in front of more people than anybody else. But as far as country music, nobody played that classical tremolo at those speeds that Monroe was doing. And the only place that I could come up with that when I was around Campbell Mercer and that bunch down around Rosine, Kentucky, of all the local people that I talked to, you know, there was one lady, Bill always said that he quit school in the 3rd grade, but there was one lady down there swore that she went into the 9th grade with him. So, you don't never know. I was telling Alan over here earlier, you know, we're all living in our own illusions. That illusion, this thing that's going on for you today out here is unique to you because you're the only one who's had your life experiences. Your view of everything you look at is unique. It's your illusion. Funny thing about human illusions is when there comes to be gaps in them, humans like an orderly universe, and when there get to be gaps out there in that thing, they'll make it up. They fill in the blanks, but they make it up, and sometimes they're close to what happened and sometimes they ain't. But we're going to be talking about bluegrass music here today. Capital B-L-U-E space, capital G-R-A-S-S. Not one word, 2. That was the way it was always written. Well, that's what it was.